Hello everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to yet another stimulating CMO Hot Topics Roundtable. Today's theme is Back to the Future. So we're going to be looking at how we as senior marketers future-proof our roles. We're also going to be taking a look back to days when we didn't necessarily have the exciting tech tools that we now have at our fingertips. I'd like to kick off with the here and now, and I'm going to ask you first off, Mark, what's the biggest challenge that you're currently facing?
The biggest challenge, I think, for me and my team, I think, is just the pace of change. I look at it, I guess, through three ways. The relationship we have with the business, the demands are more, I think the expectations are more and continually growing, so that's constantly changing and morphing as we develop and grow. I think the demands from technology, there's so much to incorporate into what we're doing, the right technology to use and again what the outcomes of that are. And then I guess the customer demands more from us, demands more to know from us, from thought leadership right the way down to pricing and proposal. So constantly changing, I guess, and that keeps us all moving fast.
Scott, is it the same for you, all about the customer challenge or different?
So the customer, obviously, that's where we start. So are we giving them the best experience that they've ever had? So we're always focusing on that, especially around how we personalise to them without going too far that it feels sort of creepy from that perspective. So we think very hard on that improved customer experience. We're very lucky now in today where we've got tech and tools that can help us do that. I think I'd love it if we stopped talking about digital marketing and just said marketing, because digital just plays a big part. And there's no such thing as digital marketing and then you do the other marketing stuff on the side. Biggest challenge really within the business over the last couple of years with Microsoft has actually just been, like Mark said, the pace of change, but not just bringing technology in for technology's sake. I'm very lucky, we have a great tool set within Microsoft that I can call upon, but if you don't bring the processes with you and also your people, not just in terms of them buying into where you're going, but also the skills that they need in order to be much more of a modern marketeer, then that's where you can fall up. So I've really focused hard on people, processes and the tech. And that's when I go and speak to customers, a lot of the challenge that they're finding as well. So we're trying to help them do that.
Thank you. Shalu, you've moved from corporate world to startup. I appreciate you're in a very, very new role, 3 days in now. What's your biggest current challenge?
I would say it would be the whole thing around data. There's such a deluge of data at the moment and it's become very trendy to have data scientists on board that can build, propensity to purchase models. And, for me, it's the blend between the art and science of marketing and being in a startup environment, you're incredibly agile. I no longer have to seek permission to get a campaign out or, seek brand approval. So it's fantastic, but it just means that, you're able to execute, literally the next day and go live with something. And to Scott's point, digital marketing, I'll just talk about marketing, we are at the mercy of everything that happens in that space. And when you think about global versus field or localized versus standardized, no longer do we think about global, campaigns, because something that could happen on a local perspective suddenly becomes global news, and that's all down to the power of digital. So again, it's also looking at that aspect of it, and then adding on top of that the whole concept around revenue marketing, because I think now 25% of CMOs are responsible for generating the company plan around revenue and growth strategies. So that now also adds another volume, and in a startup mode, you really are at the forefront of driving and owning a number.
Thanks. Catherine, how does it work at Facebook Workplace?
So I think the biggest challenge for us, for me, my team at the moment, is just one of prioritization. So Workplace is a new business within Facebook. It's a startup within the big startup. It's a new product in the enterprise. So I think the opportunity for us is huge, which is the amazing challenge, but also the big challenge when it comes to deciding, where to focus for greatest impact. So I think ruthless prioritization is a term we use, and my take on ruthless prioritization and why it's so challenging is that you have to not do things that you really, really want to do. So, we're in a situation where there's probably 20 things we know we could and should do as a marketing team, but we're trying to focus on the ones that will deliver greatest impact. So you're having to sort of trade off things that you really would love to do or you really know are needed. So things like really zoning in on our target audience, the channels that will be most effective, the markets that are most kind of optimum for us at the moment. So making some really big and tough trade-offs is definitely a challenge every day.
Louise, I know you also have a view on the sort of trade-off between traditional revenue-based marketing versus the altruistic piece. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So I think one of the challenges that I'm facing is sort of an age-old challenge as well, which is how do I split my budget between putting it into existing tactics that we know tried and tested you have ROI on, and the tactics that are going to be future-proof in the business but you don't have the evidence base yet. And what we're seeing with a lot of our customers is that their buying habits are evolving. So, we saw it move from features to benefits to brand awareness. And now I'm seeing an evolution in brand awareness, and they're saying to us that we also want to know what's your conscience, what's your purpose, what's your ecosystem, what other value can you bring to us? And that's quite altruistic. So it's how much of my budget do I invest there and how much of the talent there, and how much do you put into the traditional marketing tactics?